Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Board of County Commissioners Workshop for February 10th. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, today we're going to listen to our department heads and see what they have new for us for quarter one. And with that, we will start with Miss Black, Treasurer.
So you guys have the schedule yet? There it is. I mean, it's on or off. Just come way down here.
You just have to get it real close.
Is
Yeah,
it working?
closer.
Okay. All right. Any questions on this? This is just the normal 6-month report. Nothing really exciting.
So I'm curious because I think this was brought to our attention too. The Courtship Sanitation District does not put in and they get nothing. They don't send in for nothing at all.
That's actually a Leslie question because
Oh,
no,
sorry.
they don't.
Okay, well, I'll wait for Leslie then.
Yeah, I think it's gone back several years that if they meet their budget differently, they don't do a mill levy. Sometimes they even do a credit mill levy. So,
Okay. Well, there's a whole
Just-
lot of failing pipe out there. I'm curious to why they're, but okay, very
yeah.
good, sorry.
Yeah, that's up to them to
I know,
to
I
put
get
it
it.
in, so. And this will get signed tomorrow then? Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Appreciate that. And the only thing, of course, we're into tax collection time, and the only bad thing for us is we don't have any online service this year. The company that was handling it had a fallout with our software company, so we have a new company coming in to do it, and it won't be done till July. Isn't that helpful?
So we don't have to pay our taxes until July?
Yeah, you wish.
Is that-
No,
is that
you have
what you're
to
saying?
call in and do it over the phone, which is very
Oh.
manual now, but
I
that's,
thought that's what I was hearing because
no,
of the fallout.
you just can't do it on the website like you can anymore. Yeah, you can pay whenever you want, Jim.
Did you hear that? Okay.
Your name will get in the paper again.
Yes.
Well, okay. All right.
Just be at the top of the list.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bold. They'll make exception, you know.
All right.
All right, and I think that's, no anything else to go over there. So if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, we're on,
Where's the biggest part of our money? Is it still in Colo Trust, and what's our percentage rates?
you know, they were running like right at 4.65, somewhere in there, and yeah, probably the biggest portion is still in there. And everything else is actually running right around there too. The CDs have better rates, but you know, that could change.
Right.
So,
And
we
they're the
kinda-
shorter ones, right?
yeah, some
Shorter
of
length
them.
of time.
We kind of have everything going on, so. But we did pretty good last year for, interest was up from the year before, so that's good. So, yeah, hopefully it stays good this year.
All right. Questions, gentlemen?
No.
Okay, All right.
Okay, Ellen.
thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, Assessor.
I was not prepared this morning, so I didn't get over what I brought over for you guys to look at.
Okay. Do you
I
have?
have my task total assessment solutions contract for this year. They are the company that does the valuation for the personal property for Kinder Morgan. Same contract, same price, nothing's changed from last year to this year. I can leave it with you for tomorrow. And then the impact assistant grant from the state for the little bit that we get from the state for our wildlife grant for the lands.
Okay.
Came to $2,244.20 this year. I can leave both of them with you.
Yeah,
Tomorrow
we'll
to
have
sign.
to for us to
Yeah.
get them added to the agenda for tomorrow, but we can get
I
that
didn't know I
done.
was coming over until this morning. Other than that, the assessor's office is very busy answering questions about the Dolores mill levy, Dolores school mill levy.
Which
Daily.
it went up too,
A lot.
yeah.
It
Well,
went up a lot.
the voters of that district had to vote it in, so,
I think what the voters, what I've come to learn, I wasn't aware of it either. So in 2023, there was a bond for the school that got voted in the contingency that if they got their, I think it's called a SAFER grant or something like that.
Best
Their
grant?
Best grant, yes.
Best,
If they got their
best.
backing, then this $11 million bond would take place. And I guess they got their backing in
Yeah,
December.
they did.
And so that took place along with their mill levy override, all at the same time. And I think all the taxpayers forgot about the $11 million bond,
so now they get them both.
and they're losing their minds. And of course, it's all my fault. Of course.
Do you have the school district's phone number to reference?
Yes, the school district is not answering phone calls, we're taking meetings.
Well, we are just by law and by statute now have to do what the voters voted, so continue it, reference them to the Dolores School
All
District,
day,
and
every day.
How many mills did it go up?
I believe they were at 32 to 34 last year, and they went up to 49.
Man. Plus the bond.
That's total.
That's total?
total.
Okay.
That's kind of the same thing Mancos did when they got that best grant. They had to do that same
Yeah.
scenario, and that's why the mill levy over there is so high compared to, because I think I pay like 50 some on property over here and 70 some over there.
Yeah, Town of Dolores'
Mills.
mill levy is 90.
The mafia didn't do
3
very
mills.
good over there.
90?
Yeah, they're 93 mills in Town of Dolores now. So. It's been a rough
What's the
3
town,
weeks.
do you know what the town of Mancos is?
Town of Mancos, they're in the 80s.
Okay.
I was gonna say, it's-
Cortez? Might as
it's
well
pretty
ask about
high.
Cortez too.
Dolores is now 93.
oh, wow.
What about Cortez?
Okay.
I mean, they didn't change much, did they?
No. I mean, the little, the school, I mean, they went up a little bit. People are seeing 200 to 300 because of RE1, not anything
Right.
of what Dolores is seeing.
So I'm going to ask you something else because I have a Dolores meeting over there tonight too, to kind of update them on this so that if they get, can you just email me a quick synopsis of that so that I can present that to them tonight?
Mhm.
I would appreciate it.
Yep.
Because they're probably going to be getting hit pretty quick too. Okay?
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
And as far as the Cortez Sanitation District, they've opted out of mill levy for about the last 5 years.
Okay.
I have
I
no
just-
reason, I have no reason why.
I just,
Fee-based, meeting their budget needs, I guess.
oh my gosh, they've got 60-some miles of pipe in
I
the
know.
ground that's failing. I don't know how you could be meeting your budget needs when you have all of that infrastructure to repair, but, okay,
So, that's all I know.
all right. Leave those with us and we can address them tomorrow, and if you'll do that, and make sure you see Jim McLean before you leave. All right, just making sure I pass that
Downstairs at
along.
IT.
Downstairs at IT?
Yeah, uh-huh.
All right, next up is, I don't see, I do see her. Transportation, come on down, Miss Kelly.
And senior services.
Yeah, but this is just transportation first.
You want transportation first?
Yes,
In that order.
in that order.
All right.
Because I can't go out of the agenda, otherwise my attorney looks at me with a scowl on his face.
I know what that's like. Great. Well, let's talk transportation. Everything's running really great. We did start a staff meeting monthly, so that's on the fourth Monday of the month from 4 to 5 for all of our team. Our van is still at Kaziz. They've promised the 30th of this month. But This is about the 4th time they've promised that, so hopefully we'll get it soon. They're still missing a head lantern, a part, that they're having a difficult time getting. So, waiting on that. You all know we're going to a broker system in 2026. Right now, HICPUF is just facilitating phone calls across the state, collecting feedback, just really saying, this is happening, prepare yourselves. So we will see what comes down the pike as far as that goes. All is well in the world of senior services. I did just finish several end-of-year reports, so I can give you some interesting statistics, I guess, or information. So last fiscal year from January to December 31st, we had 85,200 revenue miles. We had 4,109 hours of revenue, and we had 8,140 rides. So lots and lots of work, moving and shaking over there.
Well, I want to say, those new wraps really stand out.
They look good.
I mean, I see, we've got all kinds of vans running around, but these, you notice.
Yeah, they look really nice.
They do.
Everybody's been complimenting them. I told you the drivers are driving and people are honking and giving them thumbs up, so they're all jazzed about their wraps.
Just the thumb? Perfect.
Yes,
Okay,
Perfect.
no thumbs down. We did start a survey feedback method for our riders, and so it's available both paper and QR code if they're in the vehicles and want to provide us feedback through that scan. So it'll be a nice way for us to solicit feedback from those that are riding in our public transportation.
Very
Anything
good.
else, transportation?
No, I would just echo the same thing as Commissioner Lindsay. They do stick out. They do look good.
They look good.
I think people will recognize them and maybe realizing that 8,000 number will grow to 10 or 12.
Yes, it'll be
So,
interesting to see what it looks like
yeah.
next year.
Okay, senior services.
Senior services, trucks right along. We are still absent an admin. We're still working with SIR, which is the Senior Employment Program. They don't have anybody. They're thinking maybe they'll have somebody by the end of this week for us, which would be very, very helpful because we have one person over there doing it all. We are also short a site coordinator and are looking for a part-time site coordinator. That will also be very helpful. We have our Senior Services Advisory Board meetings the second Tuesday of every month. We are rotating sites, so tomorrow it'll be in Mancos, next month Dolores, the month after that Cortez, which has been really nice for everybody. Everybody seems to really appreciate that. We had a site visit this morning from Ricardo. He's our Region 9 AAA director. Pretty basic, just talked a lot about data and the need for data collection from each site. Laura Strother, who you guys know that was down here for my interview, is now the director of the State Unit on Aging. So she has shifted positions, was the interim director for a while. They just released that update last week that she is now the director. So that's exciting, that's great. I think she'll do wonderful in that role. Our community services block grant, which is a grant that we get both for MoCo and senior services. At the end of last year, it was discontinued for MoCo. And since the new administration is there, it's on hold right now, so I don't have a contract for this fiscal year. I'm suspecting that it will come through eventually, that's $16,000, but right now they're not willing to issue any contracts. So that's the only grant that I know of that has been directly impacted as far as MoCo or senior services so far.
That are on hold.
Yeah, that
Okay.
are on hold. And then some cool data from senior services, because I've been doing the same over there. From January to December, senior services served 398 unduplicated individuals through services. Through our commodities program, which is out at the fairgrounds once a month on Saturdays, we served 1,080 households and 1,344 people. We provide senior boxes the last Friday of the month, and that's specifically for those that are 60 and older and qualify based on income. We serve 775 folks. For meals, so for congregate meals, in-house meals in Cortez and home-delivered meals, last year we served 10,852 meals. Dolores, both combined, served 2,141. Mancos served 3,371. And if we add all of those meals along with all of our assisted and aging transportation, last year we had 20,502 units of service to the community, which is pretty cool. Tons of work, tons of things happening. Overall, we touched 2,327 folks, and that's a duplicated number, but certainly lots of contacts with lots of folks, providing meals and transportation. We've seen an uptick in attendance and services at senior services. Last month was our highest month of the year with 226 individual folks served in the month of December, which is the highest that we had throughout the entire year last year. So we continue to see that up. We saw an uptick from August through December in numbers from the 6 month prior. That's what I got.
Sounds good.
Question?
I don't have any.
I have a couple just follow-up questions. So did we ever get our issues squared away in Mancos that we were having when we had our town hall meeting? I know that I had gotten back with you on the reimbursement for the rent. Is reimbursement for the rent? Did we
Yes.
get that all resolved and taken care of? Because that seemed to be a pretty hot topic over there while we were in Mancos.
Yes, I did reach out to them. The Masons. That's
Yeah.
who we rent from in Mancos. Sorry, it was escaping me. I did speak to them. They did send me what we owed them, as well as the full year of rent has been paid. We just got checks last week. Took a really long time, but those checks did go out last week, and I've been in frequent contact with them. So yes, that has been resolved and addressed.
Okay, appreciate it, thank you. And then Dolores, how are we doing over there now with our, the last time I was over there with the new cook, it seemed like everything was going very well, so.
Yeah.
Still on track over there?
Still on track. Things are going really great. I did get an updated contract for the facility use agreement, and we've also paid them their rent in full for the year. So yeah, Molly does really well over there.
Okay.
Folks seem happy, so.
Well, thank you, I appreciate it, because I'm sure that at our next traveling town hall, that might have come up again, but it's nice to know that we can just tell them that it's taken care of.
Yes.
All
Yep.
right, appreciate it. Thank you, ma'am. Anything else?
No, I don't have anything.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, next up is our Veteran Services, and it looks like we have Travis in here instead of Rick today, so we actually have our real VSO here today.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
So,
Mr. Parker, you'll need to hit that button real quick. There you go.
activity report for Veteran Services. I did just go back through January since I started on January 6th. I'm 4 weeks and a few days into the position now. So going forward, I'll give a quarterly report and probably year-to-date totals. But you can see in January, we touched 1,125 veterans through email, phone calls, in-person appointments, outreach events, new client or house calls, etc. So outreach events, just a highlight there. I have attended American Legion, Disabled American Vets, VFW, Women's Veterans of America. So I'm in contact with all those service organizations locally and building a good rapport there. You can see that the numbers for January of this year, about 32% higher than January of last year. So I think Rick has done an amazing job in that position. He has a lot of respect with the veteran community and the service organizations, so I'm very thankful that I get to learn from him over the next couple months. We did file 26 claims last month. We had 3 decisions come back. 3 of those were favorable. And served actually 300 and some hours last month. Just a few highlights. That first month, the first month I've been in the position, a lot of training. I am accredited with the state of Colorado now. I did complete the National Association of County Veteran Service Officer course. That accreditation is in process. It's been sent to them, just waiting for them to finish that. That was 48 courses that I took in the last month, so a lot of education. But it was all really good education. I already touched on the outreach. I am this close to having access to the VA computer system. Travis last week signed off on a background check. I have to get background checked by the DOD, which I had a security clearance in the past, shouldn't be an issue. So once that's done, I've already been fingerprinted and pictured, and I think, yeah, I've done everything to do that. So hopefully within the next week or two, I should be able to have access to the VA, which currently Rick doesn't even have. So it's going to add another level of service to our veterans. So that is all that I had, pending any questions that you, the commissioners, might.
I don't. I have heard nothing but positives, Travis, so,
About me?
yes.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you. I haven't been there long enough to make a big difference.
They
but
talk.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and it's interesting going to all these different service organizations. There's some commingling amongst them. So, but I can say I'm really glad that you selected me for the position. I've met some really cool people in the last month. And, you know, as I'm going to also start tracking homeless veterans. So far, there's one on this report. We've dealt with 2 this month. So I'm really glad to be making a difference for the veterans in our community.
Very good. Well, I thank you also. Appreciate it. Appreciate
you.
your efforts and what you're doing.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next up is the Cooperative Wildfire Protection Agreement, and Mr. Nowlin, come on down. Good afternoon.
Questions?
I don't have any
anything for
questions.
you.
This pretty much,
Same old agreement?
I think it's just a matter of, you know, we can't sign the agreements until they're presented.
That's fine. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter to me. This is something that the state sends out.
Well,
Are they funding it this year?
Are you kidding? There's, you know, they've got some fire funding,
Yeah.
dollars there. And I think that it's increased. I know that all of their state, crews and the aircraft are all available
Okay.
right now. So, that's a good thing, both in Montrose, and they're trying to set it up for, the aircraft also in Durango, which we're probably gonna need this year.
We got a lot of room down here.
I know, we
We
talked
had 'em for
about
a
that.
while,
Yeah, yeah. I'd like to have them here locally, but as soon as something happens in the state,
yeah, they're gonna be
they're
all
gone,
over.
Well, I know.
okay? You know, and I have to rely on the federal resources. The state will always be available with hand crews and what equipments that they can provide and aircraft that they can buy. The seed aircraft come out of Grand Junction, that's still available. And I think they added another one. So we're all anticipating a fire season this year. We really are. And something to really consider about a burn ban before too long. It's pretty dry. You could look at a piece of brush and just yell fire and it'll start. So it's just that bad.
We're
Yeah.
set up like we were back in 2000.
Yeah, we're moving into the more extreme drought seasons now, even though we have some moisture that's supposed to happen tomorrow night through Wednesday morning, and that's
Yeah.
pretty much it. We'll see.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like it's gonna be much here, and the mountains are not doing any better. Not here. They're not. I mean, last week, it was 41 degrees overnight in Telluride, and it was colder here
Yeah.
than it was up there.
Yeah, it's not even
Like-
freezing.
Like the cattlemen's, the guys
Yeah.
saying there's no snow below 9,000 feet.
I know, and there's not. And I'm telling you, this is not gonna be good for
No.
anybody. Yeah. So that's why we did put out, just some advice about ag burning and whatnot last week. And, it's just something that we're all trying to gear up for. I know that Louis Ariola has already responded to 6 out of control burns. So, it's just gonna continue. Yep. Okay.
Did you have anything, Stephen, on this agreement before we move on to tomorrow?
No, I didn't have anything to add. Really, sounds like this is something we've had to do in the past, and
Okay,
don't have anything additional. No.
okay, all right, very good.
I think there was 2 or 3 different House bills that were passed last year that changed, had nothing to do with the commissioners, but it had just things that for the sheriffs and the state agencies, it just combined things, and that's all it was. There was really nothing different. As it explains there on the page 1, on those authorities, that's what it's all about.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, all right,
right.
thank you.
thanks.
All right, now we're going to talk about our JBBS contract, or our jail-based behavioral services contract amendment. Vici Pierce. Great, how are you today?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Get it really close.
I just talk softly anyway, right? There, now, how are you?
That's better.
Good.
Great.
We got, with the grant, I had Kelly Russell reach out to me, and she's gonna award us another $76,000 for this grant, because we were so behind. What we thought we'd like to do with it is get $33,500 for medications, for benefits for the staff of the SO that work it, and also do the crisis intervention that come in. We can pay that cost too, and then we would give the rest to Access to help, supplement what they're behind. I think they're about $59,000 they would be behind, but they usually try to make up that cost. But we would get $33,500 of it, so that we could,
And-
take care of the medications and stuff like that.
And that's just for medication?
Yeah,
Or
we've
mostly?
gone through a lot, yeah. We do have, an admin part which could pay for the $350 that goes to the crisis intervention team for our suicidal people and stuff like that, so we can use that for that. But we've been using a lot for medications.
Where do you get your medications? Here, there?
SHP has their pharmacy that they use. We get a discount. It's cheaper than Safeway. And
Okay.
Safeway was pretty cheap, but we do get that through the SHP.
Like to add anything, Robert?
No, I don't have much to add. Phaedra and Vicky have done a lot of work on trying to maximize and make sure that we capture as much of the county's expenses with this additional funding, to make sure that we're capturing what we can. And then I'm sure they'll continue to work together when the renewal for the Colorado fiscal 25 comes through for next year.
Okay, questions?
We'll try to save you money,
I'm
save the
good.
county money.
Okay. All right, well, this will be on the agenda for tomorrow for approval.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vicky. All right, we're going to talk about the Yellow Jacket and Flodine Range Allotments Permit. There was a lot of conversation about this Saturday, but Mr. Dietrich, come on down. You were out there Saturday also, so not sure if you had any conversations or not, but
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
good afternoon.
Yeah, okay, so the long-awaited programmatic agreement has finally arrived, and we've got concurrence on this programmatic agreement with the BLM as well as the SHPO. So what this does is it approves the methodology for taking a look at the cultural resources out on the monument. And what it does is it gives us participation in future involvement. And I'll just read this to you. As detailed in the agreement, concurring parties will continue to play a significant role at several steps. These will include the identification of historic properties, Section 2C, consultation on the development of the livestock utilization model, Section 2D, review of the plan for the inventory of the historic properties, Section 2E2, and review of the Historic Properties Management Plan, Section 3A. Each of these steps will be conducted with other collaborators while following the specific guidelines and timelines. So this has been a very long haul to get us to this point. And I feel like they finally did accept that model for looking at the livestock utilization out there, which really focuses on where the livestock are accessing the water. And, you know, they're going to utilize areas that are closer to the water, and that utilization is going to get less and less as you get away from the water. So that was the angle on trying to be able to pinpoint where the cultural resources inventory and all the work really was supposed to be done. So that's where we're at with this programmatic agreement. So hopefully it's something that will work for us. I'm kind of frankly surprised we've got to this point. But I'm very happy we're here at this point at right now. So if we feel like we're amenable to this, then we've got 45 days to get this signed. So this is our draft version at this point. And if this looks acceptable to the commissioners, then we can sign it tomorrow and send it back to them. If there's anything that we feel like we need to visit with the BLM about, then I'll set up a time that we can talk to the BLM about that then.
So I'm not going to say I'm opposed to this, but I have some questions. So life revolves around water, whether it's agriculture, whether it's people, whatever. So wouldn't the cultural resources be more likely in the same traffic areas that animals are using to go get water? I mean, the humans were getting water also.
Most of the water out there is all reservoirs that
Okay,
was
so
built.
it's-
Right.
So it's not like
Not like the
a
like the
stream or
natural-
anything. There's
okay.
not anything out there other than ponds that were
Man-made.
built by the,
man-made.
yeah, they're all
Gotcha.
man-made.
Okay.
They're all man, I don't think there's anything out there, I don't think there's a spring or anything that I know of.
Not that I'm aware of. You know, I mean, we've got something there in Yellow Jacket. Well, when the creek runs.
Yellow Jacket Canyon.
You know, I mean,
Well,
it's,
yeah, but that's
Yeah.
a
That's
very short
seasonal.
period of time,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
correct.
Yeah. But in that allotment, there is, would be that Yellow Jacket Canyon where it comes down through there. But
the
otherwise, it's
drainage.
all ponds that were built by permittees in the past to run their cattle on those deals.
and, you know, they talked a lot about virtual fencing out there. Are they is this something that they're going to do with their cultural resources if they find them and they want them protected? Is that something that's realistic, or is that going to be up to the permittee? Or how are they going to deal with that?
I honestly, I don't think that's gonna work out there, because the whole biggest thing with this thing is if they reissue this, they're gonna have to get all them horses off of it. Because you got hundreds of horses out there year-round now, because they don't have a permittee to maintain the fence. And if that permittee's gotta go out there and maintain that fence, why is he gonna want to have virtual fencing? Because without it, he can't keep those horses off. Because the one boundary is the Utah state line. So you're against the Navajo reservation on one side, the other side it goes against, part of it's Vici's property and part of it's
Probably Ute Mountain Reservation. yes.
Ute Mountain Reservation. So you got, whoever has that permit is gonna have to maintain that outside fence to keep them horses off of there. Because without it, just like right now, there's hundreds of them down there.
And they're just going back and forth.
And and so they took the cattle off because they were worried about damaging this. So there's no permittee there. So then all the horses have come in over the years because there's nobody keeping up those fences. And so now they've got way more horses on there than they ever had cattle on there. So actually their management, as far as trying to control, has actually done more damage than the permittee and the cattle were doing, as far as I'm concerned. It's by far way worse, because the horses are on there year-round, and before, those cattle were there for 3 or 4 months,
Yeah.
and then off.
taken off.
Then taken off. Now they got horses on there 12 months a year.
And it's
They've
growing.
actually done way more damage than would have been done with a permittee being on there all the time.
So
And it's
then-
sad.
Do you
sad.
have any issues with this? Because
I don't
I'm
have
gonna-
any issues with it, but I think that they need to understand that that permittee is gonna have to have enough leeway and be able to justify going back in there, and, because most of this fence is gonna have to all be redone, because it's been 20-some years.
Oh, it's
How
been
long's
a
it
long
been?
time.
Oh, it's been 20
A long
years,
time.
yeah, or more than that, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
long
it would have been in,
Mid-2000s. as I recall.
It'd been in about 2007 or 8.
That
So it
sounds
may
right.
not be quite 20 years yet. But it's close. I mean, it's close to that. Since there was an actual permittee out there that would fix the fences and control this permit, because that's what's happened now, because all those fences, I'm sure, are a mess. After this many years with no maintenance whatsoever, there's probably not much left to them, honestly.
Yeah, there's
You know,
nothing.
so that permit, whoever they issue this permit to, is gonna have to have, it's gonna have to have enough livestock on it to justify them being able to go in there and redo this whole fence. Because that's basically what they're doing, and that's, what worries me is they're gonna make it at a level that whoever, if somebody gets it, they can't justify going in and rebuilding all this fence to have that permit.
I guess that's what,
So there's gonna have to be something there.
that was my question on the virtual fencing. Is it, has that technology come enough to build to, I mean, that's a lot of.
It will work to keep the
fence.
cattle on that permit, but that's not gonna keep all that other stuff from coming in.
Got
That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's why it's not gonna work. I mean, it would work where you can, because the technology's there to do that, because once you set up one of those stations, you can put a virtual fence out there and they won't cross it. They're really good about not crossing it.
Yeah,
I
because
mean,
they have a pin or
they
a
gotta-
tag or something,
they gotta-
but the horses on the other side
They
don't
gotta-
have anything. I
Yeah.
got it. Okay.
okay, so everything on the outside, until they fix those boundary fences, you cannot maintain that. And I'm
That's a different
sure
way to stop
that
that.
ground has actually been severely degraded because of that many horses being on it. Because they're not just on that one, because I know on the next permit up that Wallace's have, Steve the other day told me they drove out 30 or 40 head, I forget what he said, in one bunch off of their permit. So it's come clear through that permit into the next permit above that. And so, I mean, it's,
Okay.
there's gonna be some real issues there that they're gonna have to either come up with some way to rebuild that fence, or they're gonna have to have a permittee there that can have enough cattle there to justify redoing that. I mean, it's not, there's gotta be something, I don't know. It's gonna be a real headache to figure out what will work with that permit, because and I'm talking mainly, and even on the other one, on the Yellow Jacket one over there, I know some of them horses have went through it, clear out the top. They're up on BB Road in 10,
Oh, my gosh.
where 10 comes down off of BB
yeah,
Road.
yeah.
They're clear up
That's-
in there. These horses are, so
That's way up.
they've spread up into those other permits and everything. It's gonna be a mess.
Those people up there are
Straight.
not only impacted by horses, but all the elk and deer that are up in there too.
Well, yeah, the elk, they're clear down
Yeah.
in there too. They're all down, clear to the state line and all the way down in there. The elk are too.
Okay, so I'm sure we've already commented on everything, but, I mean, well, we can ask about it and maybe give them more information, because I mean, I know what they were trying to do, but I'm not sure they realized what they've done. And I think that's what they really need to know. But as far as for this right now, I don't think that we have, I'm gonna defer to my left here, because obviously there's more knowledge than I have on this type of stuff, but I don't have any issues at right now.
Okay.
But we can have a conversation with Ray.
Yes.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah,
I mean, it's just something we should bring up with them, that they're gonna have, our position is they're gonna have to have either they're gonna have to help rebuild that fence, or they're gonna have to make that
Correct.
permit big enough for somebody to justify doing it.
That's right.
I
yeah.
guess that's what I'm getting at. I mean, you can come out there and say, well, we're gonna reissue this permit, but if they make it for 50 head of cattle for 3 months, it isn't worth it.
Right.
You cannot justify redoing all that fence and everything that they're gonna have to do for that
Well,
kind of a permit.
I guess I would think right now, wouldn't it be beneficial to them to rebuild the fence anyway, just to keep the horses out?
Yes.
I mean, it
Oh,
seems
sure. Well, I think
I think
beneficial.
so, yes.
And that's what should have been done. When they took that permit away from that permittee,
They just
they
didn't
should have
manage it.
maintained it.
Yeah,
And
they
have
didn't
done
manage it.
No.
So 20
And
years.
in my
they're just-
mind, all on them.
The fence is laying down.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's gone.
Laying down, tore up, gone, whatever.
Gone. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
And
Sorry,
again,
I
this,
didn't,
oh, that's fine.
I didn't mean to jump down a rabbit hole, but
Well, we got
I was
plenty of
just-
rabbit hole left because this just deals with the cultural resources.
Right.
And so, I mean, this doesn't authorize moving forward with, re-upping those permits at all.
those-
This just deals with the cultural
Those
resources.
horses have got to be doing some damage in there.
Oh, 100%, yes. And I have made those comments, and I made those comments through this process also. That's been brought up over and over, the issue with the horses, which is, in my opinion, one of the primary issues we have out there, as Gerald just described. And yeah, without the fence, I don't know what we're going to do with the feral livestock out there.
And that's the thing, I'll guarantee you what, that range, just like Flodine there, especially Flodine on that side, I think, is probably worse than the Yellow Jacket side.
I would
But
say so.
I don't know that for sure. But I'm sure that range has been degraded like crazy because of that many horses on there. Because horses, it's just like people that have horses in little lots. You look at that, it doesn't take any time for them to beat every bit of grass out because of the way their hoof action is. They're not like cattle.
Yeah, they
And they
behave
destroy,
different.
they destroy, they're way harder on the ground than cattle are.
and it's not a split hoof either.
Yeah, it's not a split hoof, and that hoof action is not there with horses. So they beat out the grass. They do.
And we pointed out that, some of their cultural resources inventory says that approximately 40% of the cultural sites out there appear to have livestock damage. We don't know what that is. I mean, it's just a box they have there. So it could be, they found some droppings on that. There's a cow pie out there. Well, okay, click the box for damage. So, but we've also pointed out that, in 150 years or so of grazing out there, we have no evidence of any of those cultural sites being rendered unable to be included in the National Historic Registry because of cattle. Not a single one that you could say that the cattle have damaged it to the point that it can't be listed. So we've made that point over and over again also.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll stop there then. If
don't
you guys have nothing else, we'll sign this tomorrow.
Okay, and this will be coming back because we still got to work through the whole rest of this process. So.
Yeah. Okay, the next one is the Town of Mancos, the Cooperative Planning Intergovernmental, IGA.
Yes, and so we've been over this a couple times. And so the latest draft that we've got, the issue that Mancos had is they wanted to include number 6, which was protect natural resources, public lands, and conservation areas. So that was the last hang-up that they appeared to have with this. I guess, from my perspective, I don't really know what they mean by natural resources, but public lands and conservation areas are not something that we manage. So this IGA, I mean, in my opinion, it's fine to have it in it. We don't manage those anyway. So, to me, it's just neither here nor there. So I think if the commissioners that can find some level of comfort with Section 3 goals, number 6, protect natural resources, public lands, and conservation areas, then I think we're kind of working through our drafts to the point where there's a comfort level for both parties.
I'm okay with it, but I'll ask you, Stephen, what's the shall, should? I mean, what's the difference in legal terms of shall, should?
Typically, when people use shall in something like this, it means you have to do it. I would say is the clearest way to explain it. Should is a little bit of a softening of that language. So
You should do it, but you might not get around to it.
yeah, it's like exactly. So it is weakening that language a little bit. It's an intergovernmental agreement, so I think it's
Okay.
there doesn't seem to be like penalties for non-compliance or anything like that. But that's really
So it's-
how that's
it's-
been
It's
changed.
the soft landing again.
Yeah.
And the town seemed comfortable with that too. So
Okay.
I felt like we're in pretty good shape on that.
Okay.
And again, this doesn't have to be done until April, so I mean, if we get another if they want to kick it back and we have to take a look at it again, that's fine, we'll just go through it. So.
I don't have any issues with it. If Stephen, I mean, that was my question, because those words do matter as far as legally what it means.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess to my read, like if when I look at number 6 on there, protect natural resources, public lands and conservation areas, I'm in agreement with Mr. Dietrich here that there's some things, even if we didn't want to protect them, the county's not in a position to do anything about them. I think when I read the protect natural resources and I look at the map around Mancos, I mean, the things that stand out are like Chicken Creek going through there, that might be a natural resource that's being identified, or the Mancos River on the south side of town, that there might be an eye, in talking about how land around Mancos should be developed, that's the kind of natural resource that I understand to be kind of singled out for protection as you think about future development. So that's how I'm understanding that. I didn't see that was necessarily defined anywhere, but that's kind of how I understood it.
That kind of reflects the way I was seeing it also.
Okay. Okay. I'm okay with it. Do you guys have any issues with it? I mean, there's a lot of conservation areas over there anyway, so.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else, Mr. Dietrich?
I think that's it. I will let you know that, so I talked to the town of Dolores about their IGA.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently they signed a resolution to sign the IGA and did not sign the IGA. So I've got a copy of that IGA coming back to make sure, we'll just do that back and forth on that one. So it worked the way I intended it to work, because I sent them a draft so that we could have this conversation back and forth. So anyway, I felt a little relieved that they didn't sign the IGA right off, and it was a resolution to sign the IGA. So I think we're good on that one. We're still working through the one with the town, or the city of Cortez. That one, we're intending to amend an existing IGA on that one. So that is going forward to their planning commission here in February, and so we should get some feedback on that one here pretty soon. My understanding after talking with IHOP is they really want us to put forth a good faith effort. So I think if we can deliver one of these, that's probably good. I think we've got probably 2 of them we can deliver. If things go haywire with the city of Cortez, we can probably continue to work on that and probably still get out from under our grant, because we've made the good faith effort and everything is good faith effort, and everything has been taken forward. So I'm feeling a lot better about that. So.
Okay. Very
Other
good.
than that, I can't think of anything else off the top of the head here. So. We'll mention the CDA cost share. We still have not heard whether or not we've got that grant yet. So anyway, they're supposed to tell us sometime here in February. Hopefully that'll materialize. So I did talk to Tanner Young at the Cattlemen's Association. He encouraged us to apply for some of the HPP funds through CPW, and so I will be putting a grant application together for that and get you the approval form for that. And we can review that. If we want to move forward with it, we can. If not, that's fine too. It doesn't require a match, so from my perspective, we can use the money that we've already got on the table and say that's our match. If we can throw a little more dollars into our cost share program, I think we just market that really heavily and just try to get more assistance out there to people that way. So
Okay.
at least we get weed sprayed on the ground that way, which is great. So
Very good. I was going to ask if you'd had any other conversations out there Saturday after.
yeah, well, I had some other conversations with our state representative, primarily regarding Paz Mesa Verde, and our state representative sits on the transportation board and apparently has a pretty good relationship with the governor. So anyway, hopefully maybe he can rattle some additional funding out.
Well, good.
So, but we'll give him that
We just need
assignment.
CDOT to,
I'm sorry?
I said, we just need CDOT to put forth some more money, but the issue is
Yes.
they're pretty strapped right now too.
Yeah, totally understand.
They really are.
Yeah.
They're $1 billion short.
Yeah,
Yeah.
their funding is pretty tight.
Yeah, completely understand that. Although
All right.
according to our representative, there may be some money there. So we'll see. So,
Which representative are you talking about? We have two here, you know.
yes, Representative Sukla.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so really for, I guess we'll just kind of pursue that as best we can. You know, the feds say that they can bring more money to the table. And now, they also told us that they could bring the money, back in 24.
Yeah.
And so here we are sitting in 25 and we haven't got the money. So, but at the same time, they're able to bring 82.78% to the table. That's a pretty good cut.
Yeah.
If we can shake that money out of CDOT, and we've got some of our own that we're throwing in there on that also. So, maybe it's worth the shot. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And we'll give it everything we got.
All right. Thank you,
Okay.
James.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. And with that, we have come to the end of our agenda, and gentlemen, we are adjourned. Thank you all. Thank you all for coming.